Minnesota Vikings general manager Rick Spielman has been with the Vikings since 2006. Back on the day. So the decade and a half, mainly good, constantly able to reboot and rebuild your team through the draft. Rick likes his 10 picks. Rick gets all the 7th round picks. But you know what? He hits on a good portion of those 7th rounders. Yeah, he really does. Day 3 picks, I think Rick Spielman's batting average is higher than most. Of course, with anything, you're going to have busts in the first round. You look at Treadwell, you look at Trey Waynes to a degree, sure, whatever. But the dude has had a lot of at-bats, and he's hit a lot of extra base hits. Had a couple doubles, had a couple triples, hasn't really hit the home run yet. But the question is, how many more swings of the bat is he going to get? All right, so say 2020 is a failure. And we've talked about how 2020 is a full-on referendum, all in, back, your ass is on the hot seat with Spielman, with Zimmer, with Kirk Cousins, right? Like, everyone is synced up, ready to go. Say 2020 is just abject failure. Say it's a 6-10, no playoffs, all that stuff. Well, Cousins is probably gone. Cousins goes, signs off San Francisco, does all that stuff. Zimmer likely with him, unfortunately. But the question is, does Rick Spielman stay? I mean, they call him Slick Rick for a reason, and he's been around. I think that he is still one of the better general managers in the league. I think top-down, scouting department, executive branch, as well as organization, plus Rob Brzezinski, obviously. I do think that they're one of the better units in the league, but I don't know if he can survive that. And if he does, it would be pretty amazing. But let's recap real quick. Let's go through his history. So it came in 2006, VP of Player Personnel, was basically a rubber stamp for Brad Childress. Right? I mean, Brad Childress, during his time here, was a de facto general manager, even though the triangle of authority was on with Childress, with Ziggy, and with Rick Spielman. I don't buy that for a second. It was Brad Childress, which gave him absolute power, and it corrupted absolutely. It did. But as VP of Player Personnel, gotta give Rick a little bit of credit for the Jared Allen trade. It's phenomenal. Drafting Adrian Peterson in 07. Brett Favre to a degree, even though I think it was more the jet down to Hattiesburg. That's what did it. But also, you do have to ding him a little bit for retaining interim head coach Leslie Frazier. We talked about Mike Leslie failed for a myriad of reasons. I do think he deserves another shot at being a head coach, but it didn't work out, right? Also, he definitely deserves to be dinged for drafting Christian Ponder, because by that time, 2011, that was a year after Brad Childress was gone. So even though he wasn't full GM until 2012, he was the only one at the levers of power. Like, it wasn't Leslie Frazier. It wasn't Ziggy Wolf putting in for Senior Bowl MVP Christian Ponder. No, that one was all Rick Spielman. So obviously that one didn't work. The Donovan Fatnab stopgap didn't work either. And then Leslie fired, and then you hire Zimmer in 2014, and then you draft Teddy, and then unfortunately 2 years later, leg falls off. Then you just shove in, trade everything for Sam Bradford, and then that doesn't work out. And then you decide not to retain Case Keenum. You decide not to retain Teddy Bridgewater, which, as a general manager, your decisions not to keep a player factor in just as much as signing a player or drafting a player, right? And then you sign Kirk Cousins to that mega deal in the offseason. So if Cousins doesn't work out, if Zimmer is out the door with him, and Spielman somehow remains, he's going to be selecting his third head coach, Leslie, Zimmer, next guy, and fifth quarterback of the future, Ponder, Teddy, Bradford, Cousins, next guy, which is just absolutely unheard of. Like, the only one more Teflon is Steve Keim, where it's like, hey, Steve Keim in Arizona. All right, so you hired Wilkes, and then also you traded up to draft a quarterback in the top 10. Oh, you have the worst record in the league. Oh, we have the number 1 overall pick. Oh, you fired your head coach and entire staff that I have to pay for after 1 year. And then you're bringing this new head coach who had a losing record in college football, and you're going to draft another quarterback at number 1 overall. Cool. Oh, and also your extension of David Johnson, making him one of the highest paid running backs in the league. Yeah, he isn't working out, and you want to bench him, but we can't trade him, and we certainly can't cut him. Yeah. He's the only one who's more Teflon than Rick, if Rick somehow survives this. But again, most GMs, they get to pick a 1 coach and 1 quarterback, maybe two quarterbacks. But man, like, I do like Spielman. I am a Spielman fan. I think that he has stocked this roster with a lot of good young talent, but they've been deficient in a couple spots. Quarterback is one of them. He got a crap roll of the dice with Teddy. Ponder clearly didn't work out. Crap roll of the dice with Bradford. TBD, what happens with Cousins, right? As well as I mean, he did to a degree ignore the offensive line. It's one of the reasons why the Vikings O-line has been sucking high teens since 2014, right? But I don't know, like I like him, but I feel just as a fan, if 2020 goes awry, completely swab the decks, start anew, a nice cleansing fire. But your thoughts, Spielman, La Cucaracha, potentially surviving 2020. Let us know in the comment section below. Also, subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us something in Venmo. Plus, give us a follow on social media as well. But the next time, Skol, production value.